Hey everybody, it's X, and welcome back to another Premier Draft of Duskmourn. Getting a little more practice for the Sealed Arena Direct this weekend. Without further ado, let's get into the Pack 1 Pick 1. I love me some Rakdos Sack in this format. It's a really fun, mid-rangey, kind of grindier version of Rakdos in this format, so it plays a bit differently. You get to play a bunch of rooms with great enters effects, and then sacrifice those rooms for extra value. It's pretty fun, and Disturbing Mirth plays exceptionally well in those decks, so don't mind pack one, pick oneing it. In a weaker pack like this, the strongest card is probably Coordinated Clobbering as a fine green removal spell, but it is not a particularly exciting pack overall, so we can pretty easily just take Disturbing Mirth, even if it is a gold spell and not the most flexible. Pick 2, we actually do see a very powerful mono-colored spell, the Razorkin Horde Caller. That's just fantastic in every red deck, playing the offense and the defense, spitting out little chump blockers every time you attack in with anybody. You only get one gremlin per turn, but you don't have to specifically attack with a Horde Caller if there's a better attack on board. If your opponent has like a 4-2 blocker on board, you'd probably rather attack with your 2-2 and get your gremlin token than attack with your Horde Caller and have it trade off. Pick 3 now. Piggy Bank is nice in Rakdos. It's nice in any deck that cares about Delirium, so particularly Rakdos and Gruul. The Gruul is the aggro Delirium build, and then the Rakdos is more of a sack build, but you do get a couple good Delirium cards potentially, so I do like Piggy Bank in Rakdos. I also like Ticket Booth in Rakdos, but I think it's a little bit... it gets picked a lot less highly by more archetypes, because Rakdos is really the best spot for the Ticket Booth. It's very similar to Piggy Bank, actually, where Rakdos and Gruul are really the only decks where it's super good, but Piggy Bank, because it's a 3-2 for 2, can just go into any aggressive red deck, so it can go in like Boros as well, or weird blue-red aggro builds, so I'm going to take the Piggy Bank over Ticket Booth. I just think the Ticket Booth tends to go a bit later in the draft pods, even if they are both really nice in this archetype. Here's a pick 4 Withering Torment. This might be a really simple draft. That would be nice. In comparison to yesterday's draft, we had to pivot around a bit there. Ended up with just a pretty average deck. But here, so far, so good. The best cards in the pack have just been lining up with our colors pretty well. So here's Withering Torment. Pick number 5. Now there's a Clockwork Percussionist. Great in any red deck, but particularly the more aggressive builds. Pretty fine in the sack decks too, because you can sack it for that value. We definitely want the Wombo combo with this card. The 1 mana +3/+0 Manifest Dread when the creature dies is a really good trick for that. Impossible Inferno is fine. I tend not to take it too highly. Maybe I take it too low, because our last deck we had some opportunities to take Inferno, passed up on it hoping to find better removal, and then didn't find any removal. So our last deck actually would have been considerably better had we took some Infernos, but I feel like Rakdos of all color pairs has access to a lot of good removal, because you have red and black, both pretty removal-heavy colors, so I'm just going to take the excellent 2-drop creature over the mediocre 5-drop removal. Hopefully we can find Scorching Dragonfires, or Glassworks, or Withering Torments, just better removal spells than that. But pick 7 when there's nothing else in the pack, sure. We can grab an Impossible Inferno just in case. We could have also speculated on the green fixing, in case we open up some kind of bomb, but I'm pretty happy to be locked in here. Here's Fear of Being Hunted. Pretty fine. Forces a block when you attack in, puts an enchantment and a creature into your graveyard. If they don't have a blocker on board, it gets a bunch of damage in. And it has some good combos, particularly the Most Valuable Slayer to give it first strike every turn. And then you just eat your opponent's board away so easily. Ripper is fine in exactly Rakdos, so we could take that here. But Found Footage is fine filler for anything with Delirium cards. We don't have any Delirium cards yet. And I think between all our Artifact and Enchantment creatures, we're already going to be pretty good at finding Delirium, so I'll speculate on Ripper. Not a card I want a million copies of, but pretty fine card. I mean, maybe we're just mono red, honestly. We took one Withering Torment pretty highly and then basically never saw any more black. I don't really want to do mono red, but I guess it's technically possible if it's just by far the most open color in the pod. Pack 2, pick 1. Blue-red aggro, so that we can draw a bunch of cards off Enduring Curiosity. That is a weird deck you should probably almost never play. Blue-red is supposed to be a rooms deck. All the signpost uncommons get better with your rooms. So it's a slower, controllier deck, but Enduring Curiosity is incredible in aggressive decks. If you have enough cheap creatures on board that you can slam this down turn 4 and immediately draw a card or two, that puts you insanely ahead. So I think it's worth the speculation on doing something funky here because of how powerful that rare is. So yeah, there's already no good black cards. The red cards are pretty filler, but we can take a great blue removal spell. All right. Unintended off the beaten path archetype it is, potentially. And we're still kind of just as deep into black as blue here. We have 2 really good black spells, 2 really good blue spells. But yeah, blue-red in this format is supposed to be much slower, more controlling, grinding out a lot of value with a bunch of rooms. Jesus, red is open. We'll take another Razorkin Horde Caller. I mean, it's only pick 3. So I guess it's less of being just like really lucky with how open red is and more of getting lucky with how many red cards are getting opened. That makes sense. All right, pick 4. Tunnel Surveyor is going to be fine, spitting out multiple creatures off of the 1 spell. I also think Glimmerlight's pretty fine for aggressive decks. Being able to move that +1/+1 wherever you need it to keep getting attacks in is pretty good. Plays well with Fear being hunted as well. I might take Glimmerlight over Surveyor. I don't know. Surveyor is one of the few blue creatures I would actually like in this deck, and multiple creatures off 1 card plays really well with Curiosity. I'm gonna go Surveyor here. Whoa! Okay. I can now confirm red is egregiously open. No red player should ever pass that card, so there is just no player out of these 4 that's playing red. There might be a red player on our right, I guess. Oh my god. Yeah. I mean, it's potentially a lot of mana, but at 5 mana, you're dealing 2 damage to 2 creatures. That's potentially killing 2 things. At 6 mana is where you're really paid off 3 damage to 3 things. If you have Delirium, it's really, really easy to pop off with that card. Wow, okay. Maybe this is a mono red deck. Now we have a hand that feeds. Painter Studio to Face Gallery feels a little better, though. We already have some better filler 2-drop creatures. It's a great aggro card. Wow, yeah, pick 7, Percussionist, Specialist, Inferno, a bunch of fine cards. Take another Percussionist here, get Curvin out as quickly as possible. There's the Turn Inside Out, which is a huge combo with the Percussionist style cards. Make sure that we still have a wide board, and fuels Delirium really well, which we now really want to do with the Roller Crusher ride. Here's an Impossible Inferno. This is crazy. I'd rather take another 2-drop than the Infernal Phantom. It always feels kind of slow and dirtily. Ticket Booth is going to be fine with a Delirium kind of deck. And any sack cards. This is a wild pod. Probably not playing Vicious Clown, but maybe I end up so deep in red that I do go mono red, and then I have to run some amount of filler like that. I'd like to cut all these Boiler Builders Rippers as well. Not that I don't like them. I think they are fine in a deck with a couple of random rooms like Ticket Booth, Painter Studio. But I don't want a lot of 5 mana cards, and I already have 2 just like S+ tier red uncommons at the 5-drop slot. Pack 3, pick 1. Wow. Horde Caller 3. Ghostly Dancers is also an absurd rare. And we're so deep in red that I could just decide, you know what, Ghostly Dancers is so strong, I'm just going to be mono red with the Ghostly Dancers. We'll go 10 mountains, 7 plains, play a Ghostly Dancers. That's a thing that we can do, but I'm just going to take a 3rd Horde Caller here, because I can still just be blue. I can be mono red splash blue, play an Enduring Curiosity as my bomb rare. Not quite as good as Ghostly Dancers, but still very strong, and we're already a couple of cards deep towards helping support that and have a little bit more action going on there in the blue. What is this world? Duskmourn is such an explosive format. It's kind of gross. There's a Zimone, too. We've seen Ghostly Dancers, Roller Crusher Ride, Zimone, a bunch of like incredibly hard to beat, super game skewing rares in this draft pod. I don't want to play against anybody else in this pod. I want to play against people who are drafted from something else because this is juiced the heck up. Here's the most valuable Slayer to go with Fear Being Hunted, which is quite fun. It's also our first 4-drop. You can't justify 4 5-drops, can you? Well, when they're Horde Callers, I'm going to. Too bad. What is my life right now? I mean, the Horde Callers are, like, good with Curiosity as well because they're spitting out extra little baby creatures to swing in. This is so dumb. This is so silly. Okay, we finally found a pack with literally nothing for us. We're not a Soul Rager deck, are we? Just a 2-mana 2/2 Vigilance that's hard to cast, and maybe we ping them for 2 draw a card. I have like 2 rooms in here. 1 Painter Studio, 1 Ticket Booth. I mean, we're more likely to be a Soul Rager deck than like a Bedhead Beastie deck. My curve should stop at 5 mana if I have 4 copies of Horde Caller. Don't really need to run 6 drops in here. I will take the Soul Rager. I will not play the Soul Rager. Pick 6. I'm not going to play these blue cards. I'll speculate on Innocuous Rats. We kind of already have a whole deck here. We just play this and 16 lands go. So I don't really need to spend picks on mediocre on color filler. So I'll just take Innocuous Rat. This draft pod has done some really crazy, super explosive stuff. So just in case I get like past the Mythic Black Overlord or something, I still can just go for the Disturbing Mirth, Withering Torment, Innocuous Rat, plus some black rare instead of going for the blue rare here. I don't love this pack. I'm not playing a 4th Inferno. We'll take a Norin, I guess. Probably cut them. Whoa! Okay. I like Most Valuable Slayer. I like it with the Fear of Being Hunted, but I only have 1 Fear of Being Hunted, and my removal is pretty expensive. I got 1 good Stay Hidden, Stay Silent, and then a bunch of like 5-mana removal. So I think just the really efficient 2-mana Scorching Dragonfire is the pick up there. Look, and red is so open, we'll just get the Slayer anyway. It's fine. We'll probably cut 1 or 2 Infernos. Just cut that top end. My god, black is open too. Final Vengeance, Winter's Intervention. These packs must have just been insanely juiced. This is so wild. Okay. Probably going to make a few cuts here and run the blue so I can play the Enduring Curiosity build. If I run the black, I get to run a slightly more removal-heavy build, but less bomby. By playing blue, I get 1 removal spell, Stay Hidden, Stay Silent, 1 Mega Bomb, Enduring Curiosity, and 1 Tunnel Surveyor. That helps the Curiosity pretty well. If I play black, I get some solid little card draw, solid little value plays with the Innocuous Rat, Disturbing Mirth, and I get 2 good removal spells, Withering Torment and Final Vengeance. So if clearing a path is going to be more important than getting super bomby, we can go black instead as our, again, 10-7 split as our 7 color. Go 7 swamps with all those. I mean, I guess the other benefit of black is it's going to be an easier mana base. None of our black cards require double black. They only need 1 black source to get cast. So it makes them even easier to play. It's like a slightly more boring deck, but I feel like we have more than enough power in the red alone that we don't really need Curiosity as like a bomb. A quote-unquote bomb. We're just like a great aggro deck, topping things off with the big Horde Callers to finish the game. I'm kind of fine at clearing a path already, though, am I not? I've got a Dragonfire, I've got 2 Turn Inside Outs. I mean, I guess the removal is quite expensive, so we play black, we get to cut all the Infernos and just run the really cheap removal. I'm just going to go for the black. I don't have any double black cards, so that'll be just a lot easier on the mana base. A really simple build. Kind of sad. I've played so much Rakdos in this format. This is definitely clearly less interesting than blue-red aggro. But even if we're blue-red aggro, we're basically mono-red splashing a blue bomb. So, like, neither of these decks is going to be particularly unique or interesting. So I might as well go for the one that I think is just going to be more consistently good. I feel like Norin is the worst card running. No, Vicious Clown is still. Oh, we have a Ticket Booth, so we've got another 3-drop creature here. I think think I gotta cut mostly spells over creatures. We've got 2, 3, 4, or sorry, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 creatures. Yeah. So we need to cut mostly spells. But I could cut these two and go for 15 creatures in this deck, and that would be reasonable. I feel like our non-creature spells are super, super powerful, so I'm fine to do that. I'll go 15 creatures and cut all the Infernos. I could cut a land in this deck, too. Got a ticket booth. I mean, I guess I do have the insane Roller Crusher, right? If we ever hit 1,000,000 mana. That would like to have a pretty high land count. Yeah, I think really the only change now is just, do I want to play another random creature over one of these lands? And when I say random creature, I mean random creature. It's like a Norin, Fanatic. Norin's pretty cute with Manifest Dread. We attack with our Manifested 2/2, they exile it. If it's like an instant, a sorcerer, and enchantment, boom, we cast it from exile. Norin's like really funny. I don't know if he's the best creature to run, but I'm going to run Norin here actually over the 17th land just because there are cute little synergies you can maybe pop off with. So we'll see if we can do the fun stuff with Norin or not. Run that in the deck. Drop, honestly, probably a swamp. I've got 4 black cards, 6 black sources. Yeah, I'll drop a swamp there. 10-6 split. Pretty much mono red. Wildly open. Draft pod for the red stuff. The quadruple Horde Caller. Spicy, powerful deck here. We'll see how it all does for us as we hop into the gameplay. 2 of my 4 black spells in the opener is real awkward without the swamp. Probably supposed to mulligan, but I'm a little greedy Gus here. I like having all 7 of my cards. And I have a great way to start and a great way to top off the curve. Hello, Norin. Hello, our Norin as well. Gave me a turn 2 play, so it's fine. Boros. Oh, Lord. Boros with the Arabella turn 2. I gotta find this swamp to kill the Arabella, but I'm finding another Horde Caller. No! Alright, we actually don't even have attacks into Arabella. I guess I do. I get 1 damage in and recast Norin. I guess Norin's pretty good at hiding combat tricks, like turn inside out. Like if I had a turn inside out there, they would probably just slam block and then I'd get to eat Arabella, and that'd be a pretty good deal. Alright, let's get ready to get domed for not mulliganing. No, not a Mythic Super Bomb! Duskmourn strikes again. Alright, well, I have been demolished. Sure. Just take like 50 damage off of the Arabella trigger. Oh. It was not much of a game of Magic. Certainly part self-imposed because I did not mulligan here, but also just Duskmourn being Duskmourn a little bit. The Mega Curve from the Boros deck, including the Bomb Screaming Nemesis. If I kill it with Dragonfire, I die because it just shoots me for 3. So we Dragonfire Arabella. That's it. 0-1 heading to game 2. Alright, here we are on the play for game 2. We are not supposed to have our 5 drops in the opener. I have 4 5 drops in the deck. We've already seen like 5 copies. Wait, I might have only had 2 copies of Horde Caller in my hand last game. It felt like I had 3 Horde Callers sitting there staring at me. I definitely had at least 2 in my hand last game and 2 again this time. Which is pretty rough. Oh boy. This is one of those games that's going to get me to go cut Norin and play a 17th land, and then I'll flood out for the rest of the draft. Such is the way of life. Perfectly balanced as all things should be. Glassworks Percussionist is wild. That is a solid deal for me. What's in my grave? Instant artifact creature. Okay, either of these hits Delirium, so it doesn't matter. I'll take this, because if I hit a Norin, I could maybe cast it, I guess. Okay, we found a land, thankfully. Unwilling Vessel. I would like to kill that before any eerie triggers, so I shall. Torment. I guess I could have tormented the Unable to Scream to get like 2 damage in last turn. But this felt better. So it played out fine. Ticket booth. Get a 2/2 blocker over there. They could flip it up if it's a creature. Double Most Valuable Slayer. Now everybody has first strike. Layer. Down to 6. Hello, Horde Caller. Wee! There's the concession from our opponent. 1-1. Heading into game 3. Alright, we are on the draw now for game 3. Got a fine little hand here. We have both of our colors. Drew the Norn again. Maybe cut Norn for land? I think I'm actually going to do that in between games. I kind of forgot last time. But I think that's genuinely reasonable for this deck. Considering, again, we have the 5, like, super strong. Or the 4 super strong 5 drops. Plus the 6 drop thingamabob. Okay, I don't think I'm attacking into the Glimmer just yet. Probably going to Final Vengeance sacking Percussionist soon. Playing against green-white. Green-white in this format has the survival mechanic, so if their creature manages to attack and be tapped during their second main phase, they get a big bonus. So we're going to have to work really hard to stop that from happening. I'm excited to see our opponent attacking here. I'm super cool to race a little bit with all this removal in hand. Alright. Slap a Glimmerlight on it post-combat. I guess they might have been holding up some kind of trick or something weird there. Go team, go. Get the Torment, whatever they cast this turn. Okay, I can't Torment that because it has Ward 2. But I'm also pretty fine with them spending 3 mana removal on Norin. Sure. This could be wrong, but I'm going to be mana efficient here and just kill this Glimmer. Alright, they've only got 1 mana left. They're probably not able to play another creature with that 1 mana. I'm definitely just going to slam down the Slayer next turn, so I'm just not going to have an opportunity to cast this Withering Torment for a little while. So let's go for the tempo. Slamming all our spells down as quickly as possible, getting the damage in. It played out really well because now we have a Slayer on board, so if they slam down any creature that is less than 6 toughness, we just eat it for free. Which is going to be disgusting. Okay, unless they have Sheltered by Ghosts. Good lord. Strong card is strong. I'll have to just Final Vengeance, the Cryptid Inspector. Well, no, I can Fear Being Hunted it. I don't have the first strike, though. Is that worth it? I know I can have a first striking Fear of Being Hunted if I Final Vengeance the Inspector. I really want to get a first striking Fear of Being Hunted, so I'm going to do that. Come on. Hit a land. Percussionist. No! Oh. That's fine. Come on, less than 6 toughness. Ooh, no creature? Grr. Oh, they have an instant? Are there any flash creatures in this format? It would be good to learn before the arena direct. I don't remember any flash creatures in green-white. Okay, well, I guess we get there. That is 2-1 heading into game number 4. That's not keepable. All right. Oh, I forgot to cut Norin. He's not in his hand, but yeah, I could use more mana. Again, there's the 5-drop chilling, staring at me. I really want to keep it in hand because it's so strong, but I have 4 5-drops in the deck. I have 4 Horde Callers. I can just redraw it when I actually have the mana for it. I'm going to ditch it. I was real tempted to ditch a turn inside out, but feels wrong. Oh god, no. Blue-white, turn 1 Optimistic Scavenger, their best turn 1 play. I live in fear. It's time to die. 2-2. I'll concede right now and we can move on to the next game. No. Gremlin Tamer. Do it, you won't. Is it going to be Sheltered by Ghosts again? I recorded yesterday's draft and today's draft. So that'd be the 3rd Sheltered by Ghosts in like 6 games. Oh my god. One of the highest win rate uncommons in the whole format. Probably of the entire year last year. Card's pretty busted. They play any enchantment. Scavenger's too big. I mean, yeah. GG. Just get soloed by Sheltered by Ghosts. Because you can never outrace it. We're not going to have removal that can kill it for a long time because we have to pay Ward 2. Sheltered by Ghosts is just like way too good by draft standards. It's like one of those clearly designed for constructed cards. But basically every game of draft comes down to creature combat where lifelink Ward 2 plus clear out a blocker is just devastating. Sure, you might as well at this point. Get more counters on the board. And I have to hold up a turn inside out, try to get the kill there, because they had removal for this. Go to 6. Painter Studio, Mountain, hold up, turn inside out. Okay. Yeah, we're not going to Playmate. Hopefully our opponent realizes that Arena would be holding for us for Playmate's ability. And they use that as a reason to not play around turn inside out. Great. 6 damage in the sky. You love to see it. Complete non-game. We're 2-2 heading into game 5. I am going to cut Norin in between games. He had nothing to do with that, but I'm going to blame him. Alright. Solid curve starting us off on the draw for game 5. We have Percussionist into Piggy Bank and the Most Viable Slayer on turn 4. That's definitely how you pronounce valuable. Don't worry about it. I'm from the Midwest. That's normal. I mean, the trade into Watchdog is not bad. I guess I'll do it on blocks here. I don't really want to ping for 1 and then get pinged for 3. And I'd rather trade Percussionist into Watchdog on blocks than Piggy Bank into Watchdog. We hit our wonderful top end card, the Razorkin Horde Caller here. Ooh, I can Innocuous Rat and Final Vengeance. Thick. Okay, now I have great blockers up no matter what. Unless they want to throw removal at Innocuous Rat, in which case I still have great blockers up. I should not have played my land pre-attack here. Oh, I didn't play my land pre-attack. My brain is malfunctioning. I'm seeing things that didn't happen. Our opponent is blue-green, which has some pretty nasty cards. Optimistic. No, not optimistic. Something, something, something is green and a blue for a 2/3. You draw a card, discard a card every turn, and if you manifested a face-down creature or you flip something face-up, instead you just permanently draw that card. You don't have to discard anything. So that's a 2-mana 2/3 is really good. The Paranormal Analyst also for that strategy. Draws you an extra card every time you manifest Dread. You put your card face down, you draw the other card into your hand instead of your graveyard. So it is like a blue-green manifest Dread kind of deck in this format. Probably gonna use my piggy bank for the Horde color early here. Feels pretty good. I could also just try to kill this Analyst before it gets the many value, but they didn't manifest it all last turn anyway. And I feel like the Horde color pressure is going to be pretty fantastic. Yeah, they've got a Centipede in hand, so like the best they probably do here is cast a Centipede, pick up a land, play it, play a 2-mana manifest card, which is pretty decent. But it's not like a huge blowout that I didn't Vengeance the Analyst yet. There's the Centipede. Now 2-mana cast Literal Manifest Dread. No, it wasn't exactly what I thought it was going to be. Ooh, double Horde Caller? I like double triggers. Sure. They got the 1 and a blue counter? Nope. Well... Yeah, just do that. Does this make... Oh, this is a third Horde Caller. I completely forgot. That's so funny. Oh, it's the instant speed Manifest Dread. That's really good. So they can double block a Horde Caller with a 3/3 and a 2/2. It's annoying, but I've got a third one. Sure. They're down to 11. If we find our Painter Studio, specifically the Defaced Gallery to give all of our attackers +1/+0, it's going to be incredible with all these gremlins. Unable to scream. I might have to flip the third Horde Caller. Is this exile an enchantment? No, it sacks a creature and enchantment to exile a creature. The other removal spell can blow up a creature enchantment. Turn Inside Out's a good draw. So I can Final Vengeance and Slayer in the same turn, or I can Slayer and turn Inside Out. I'm going to go Slayer, turn Inside Out here. I feel like this should be able to get a kill on Analyst. Okay, annoying, but fine. Gonna be basically the same attacks anyway. Sick. Hopefully no double green combat trick, but we'll see. Nope, Analyst is dead. We manifest a piggy bank. I wanted it to be the fourth Horde Caller so badly because it would have been so funny. We'll just have to top deck the fourth Horde Caller. It'll be okay. Let the record show, now that I'm thinking of it, we have not drawn Roller Crusher Ride once. Not a single time did we draw our Bomb Mythic Rare. So fingers crossed for that, too. Why? This game is still winnable. This game is still winnable. But can you imagine just blind casting Comeback Wrong and getting a Horde Collar? So you get a permanent Gremlin Chump blocker off it? Because it specifically has haste? What in an incredible luck off of just blowing up a manifested card. That's so good. Jesus. Straight up, what an absolute blowout. Oh, man. Oh, I'm tilted. Okay, we have 4 damage on the board. They're at 10 now because Survivor. Got a Final Vengeance Survivor here. Can Final Vengeance the Survivor cast the rat and have Dragonfire up? I'd probably rather sack the rat than the O2. So I can have a 2-2 on this board. Yeah, I feel like the Manifest trigger is pretty valuable. Go for that. Okay, well that's obviously not valuable, but can't do anything about that. Okay, they've got 1 card in hand. The game is still very winnable. I hope y'all enjoy the forehead. The out of focus forehead. Oh god. Under the skin, pick up their best permanent from grave. So 2/2 blocker plus the best blocker in their graveyard to recast this turn. Oblivious Bookworm, 3/4 blocker, draw a card. Oh, okay. I could have Dragonfired that before the +1/+1 counter went on it. But I guess I'm Dragonfiring Centipede here. I looked away from Arena for a second because they were taking a while. I was scrolling X like an idiot. Or as everyone knows, Twitter. I don't know why I called it X. That's gross. Why did I do that? It's Twitter. We... Yeah, we're actually in a considerably worse spot for not having Scorched the Bookworm. Because if they do stabilize here, the Bookworm really, really helps them find what they need with its card draw. I would much prefer to be facing off the Centipede than the Bookworm. I'm back. I really hope that punt does not cost us the draft. I want to get at least another game with this deck. I think it's a lot better than 2-3 on average. Man, that's 2 for 2 on just picking the right face down card. They killed a slightly bigger creature there. Last time, they hit the Horde Collar specifically instead of the really mediocre card that wouldn't have mattered for the comeback wrong. God, they hit a Beastie now. They get to draw discard off Bookworm, lose the out. I'm going to lose because I didn't Dragonfire that Bookworm. God dang it. Frustration on the stack. We can still win if I draw my Mythic 1 time today. Drawing gas. They're almost out of cards in their deck they dug so far. They have 8 left. I like definitely have Delirium by now, yeah. The Roller Crusher Ride is like straight up the win if we hit it. Come on. Roller Crusher Ride still wins the game if I can draw it a single time today. Okay, at this point it is looking like even if I Dragon Fired Bookworm, like the draws that we've had would not have found lethal through the Centipede still. They would have drawn cards slightly slower, but still. I had more than enough to be alive right now. Bookworm is a May ability. God, dude. Yeah, Bookworm and Beastie are both the May abilities, so they can just make sure they don't mill out. They've got 2 cards left. It's gonna be... Oh, it's just lethal. It's literally just lethal because I just have a land. Why? I'm genuinely pretty salty about this run. I think we only made one pretty big error, and that was Scorching Centipede instead of Bookworm. I think we still would have lost that game regardless. I think this deck is way better than a 2-3 on average, and I don't think there was a lot we could have done in the gameplay to change the outcome of any of these games. We just drew Roller Crusher Ride 0 times. Trunked up way too many of the 5-drops in the openers on some of those earlier games for the early losses. Well, for the first loss we hit like a bunch of 5-drops in the opener. I could have mulliganed. I think our very first loss, we had some rough mana, and they had an insane start. Yeah, it was the Boros insane start. We had rough mana. We would have had to mulligan, and the average 6-card hand gets nowhere near beating that insane Boros curve out. And then we died to the insane Azorius curve out, which I think was also equally, if not more, unbeatable. They had the Sheltered by Light with a bunch of eerie triggers alongside it. They had the combat tricks, so even if I did try to go for like a turn inside out block earlier, they would have had the combat trick to save it. Or they just wouldn't have attacked the same way because I had the open mana. Yeah, there were easy ways for them to play around no matter how I did that and crush us there. And then the third loss, again, just not a ton we can do, I think. They had multiple just really, really lucky interactions in their favor, like specifically the manifested card that they hit was the Horde Caller, so that they could swing in, get a chump blocker. If they didn't have the chump blocker that turn, that might have been enough damage to find the kill there much more easily. And then they also blocked the right Manifest Dread card to kill our 3-2 instead of just the 2-2 that couldn't flip up. That was like 2 for 2 on just great coin flips for our opponent on those choices. Yeah. Rough gameplay here, but that's Magic, baby. This deck was very strong, I think. Tons of efficient removal with Dragonfire, Torment, Final Vengeance, the double turn inside out to make sure our small creatures can clear a path. The Fear of Being Hunted's a potential removal spell, especially alongside Double Slayer. We have the incredible Roller Crusher Mythic Bomb that is almost unbeatable, but if you can't draw it a single time, you can't really win the game with it. So 2 and 3 it is. as the run this time around. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed this and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.